You planted those raspberry canes expecting buckets of sweet fruit, but instead, you're pulling tiny, crumbly berries from weak stems. Many gardeners immediately apply a standard balanced fertilizer right when the spring flowers appear, which is the exact mistake, destroying their yield. We need to look at the actual horticulture science behind cane development. I am going to show you a specific, research-backed soil drench you must pour over those roots right now to trigger massive fruiting, and why timing it wrong ruins everything. Those weak, crumbling berries and low yields are rarely a sign of bad luck. More often, they are the direct result of a fundamental misunderstanding of how a raspberry plant utilizes soil nutrients during its growth cycle. When spring rolls around, the natural instinct is to grab whatever standard garden fertilizer is sitting in the shed and spread it heavily around the base of the canes. But here is the horticultural problem with that approach. Those all-purpose blends are typically loaded with high amounts of fast-acting nitrogen. Nitrogen is essential for growing lush green foliage, which looks fantastic to the naked eye. However, raspberry bushes operate on a strict biological clock. If you flood the shallow soil profile with excessive nitrogen right as the plant is trying to transition from pushing out new leaves to developing its delicate floral structures, you force the plant to prioritize vegetative growth. It essentially abandons the fruit. The bush will send all its energy into growing taller canes and broader leaves, leaving the actual berry clusters starved of the specific elements they need to swell and sweeten. Another critical environmental factor often overlooked is the structure of the root system itself. Raspberries rely on shallow, fibrous roots that dry out quickly and are highly sensitive to sudden soil chemistry fluctuations. If the soil lacks the proper organic structure to hold onto dissolved minerals, the plant simply cannot uptake the complex nutrients required to build heavy, fully formed fruit. The blossoms might form, but without the right building blocks, they will abort prematurely or develop into those disappointing, crumbly drupelets. To fix this, we have to completely change how and when we feed the soil, shifting away from generic granules to a very specific liquid suspension. To understand why a liquid drench changes everything, we have to look at how fruit actually expands on a cellular level. Once a raspberry flower is pollinated, the plant suddenly requires massive amounts of potassium. Potassium acts as the main driver for water and sugar transportation within the plant tissues. It regulates the tiny pores on the leaves and builds the internal turgor pressure inside the fruit cells. Without a sudden surge of bioavailable potassium, the plant simply cannot pump enough water and natural sugars into the developing drupelets, leaving you with small, tart berries. Granular fertilizers take weeks to break down in the soil, completely missing this rapid biological window. By using a liquid suspension, we bypass the breakdown phase entirely and deliver these elements straight to the shallow root zone exactly when the plant signals for them. The foundation of this drench relies on cold-pressed kelp extract combined with a fine bone meal suspension. The science behind cold-pressed kelp is fascinating and highly relevant here. It contains concentrated levels of natural plant hormones called cytokinins. These specific hormones directly stimulate cell division in the emerging fruit clusters. More cell division early on means a much larger physical structure for the berry to fill out as it matures. Meanwhile, the bone meal supplies a steady, accessible form of phosphorus and calcium. Calcium is the structural glue that binds the individual cell walls together. When a raspberry plant is calcium deficient during fruit set, the internal structure weakens, resulting in that frustrating crumbling effect when you try to pick the berry off the core. By drenching the soil with this precise combination right before the blossoms open, you are directly addressing the biological mechanisms that build massive, structurally sound fruit. Now, mixing this properly is where most folks go wrong, and pouring at the wrong concentration will severely damage those sensitive shallow roots. To mix this drench correctly, you need to start with a standard 2-gallon watering can. It is crucial to use water that has been sitting out in the sun or is at least ambient air temperature. Cold water directly from a hose will not properly suspend the fine bone meal particles, and they will simply sink to the bottom, doing your plants absolutely no good. Fill the watering can halfway, and then add exactly 2 tablespoons of high-quality, liquid cold-pressed kelp extract. Swirl it around until the water turns a deep, rich brown. Next, take 1 tablespoon of finely ground bone meal. You want the powder form, not the coarse granules, because we need this to suspend in the liquid as long as possible. Whisk this into the kelp water vigorously, and then top off the rest of the watering can with water. The mixture should look cloudy. Now, before you even think about pouring this around your raspberries, you must check the moisture level of your soil. This is a vital step that ruins many harvests. Never apply a liquid fertilizer drench to bone-dry soil. If the shallow root system is completely dry, a sudden influx of concentrated minerals will cause severe osmotic shock, pulling moisture out of the roots and burning the plant. Always water your raspberry patch thoroughly with plain water the evening before you plan to apply the drench. The soil needs to be completely damp like a wrung-out sponge. This pre-watering ensures the microroots are fully expanded and ready to absorb the nutrient solution the moment it arrives. But exactly where you pour this mixture and how you adjust it for summer-bearing versus fall-bearing canes is what actually dictates your final berry count. When you step up to your berry patch, your instinct might be to pour this rich liquid directly onto the woody base of the canes. Resist that urge entirely. The crown of a raspberry plant is highly susceptible to fungal issues like root rot, especially if it sits heavily bathed in dense moisture. Instead, look about 12 to 18 inches out from the base of the primary canes. This outer ring is known as the drip line, and it is exactly where the active microscopic feeder roots are actively hunting for resources. Slowly pour the solution along this perimeter, applying roughly 1 gallon of the mixture per 3 linear feet of your raspberry row. Now, we have to talk about the type of raspberries you are growing, because the application strategy shifts depending on their biological fruiting habit. If you have summer-bearing raspberries, which produce fruit on the woody, second-year growth known as floricans, you want to focus this drench specifically on those thick, established canes that survive the winter. They are the ones carrying the immediate fruit load. However, if you are growing fall-bear varieties, which push fruit out on first-year green, we call primo canes, your focus shifts to the fresh shoots emerging from the soil. Those rapid new growers are furiously building the cellular structure that will support your autumn harvest, and they need that heavy dose of calcium and potassium to strengthen their stems before the summer heat arrives. Applying this correctly ensures the nutrients enter the vascular system without causing crown rot. But even a perfectly mixed drench applied to the exact right spot will fail completely if you miss the critical biological window. There's a very specific 2-week period during the growing season when this method actually works, and missing it by even a few days means wasting your effort. The timing of this drench is tied entirely to the visual cues your raspberry plants are giving you, not the calendar. You are looking for a very specific phase called the green bud stage. This occurs right after the canes have leafed out, but just before the white petals of the blossoms actually open. If you look closely at the fruiting laterals, you will see tight, green clusters where the flowers are forming. This is your exact biological window. If you apply the drench too early in the spring, while the plant is still dormant or just pushing its first leaves, the cold soil and inactive root system simply will not absorb the heavy load of potassium and calcium. The nutrients will leach down past the shallow root zone with the spring rains, completely wasted. Conversely, if you wait until the flowers are fully open and buzz with bees, you are too late. The rapid cellular division phase of the fruit structure has already passed, and the plant cannot retroactively build larger berry walls. Once you hit that perfect green bud window and apply the drench along the drip line, your immediate next step is maintenance. Because raspberry roots reside in the top 10 inches of the soil, they are incredibly vulnerable to evaporation. The afternoon sun can dry out that top layer in hours, immediately halting the uptake of the nutrients you just applied. To prevent this, apply a solid 3-inch layer of organic mulch, like shredded hardwood or clean straw, directly over the drenched area. This mulch acts as a humidity dome, locking the moisture and the dissolved minerals into the active root zone. But how long does it take for this biological shift to actually show up in the fruit? And what visual changes should you look for? You are not going to see an overnight transformation, as the biological processes we are supporting take time to build. The very first visual sign that the drench was successful will actually appear in the blossoms themselves. Roughly a week after application, as the tight green buds finally open, you will notice the flowers appear slightly larger and hold on to their white petals for a few days longer than usual. This is a direct result of the increased cytokinin activity from the kelp, giving local pollinators a wider window to do their crucial work. About 2 to 3 weeks later, when the petals drop and the green receptacle is exposed, the real structural changes begin. As the tiny individual droplets form, you will not see sparse, uneven green bumps. Instead, you will see tight, uniformly packed clusters swelling simultaneously. This uniformity is the calcium providing strong, equal cell walls across the entire fruit structure. As the summer heat arrives and the berries begin to take on their mature coloring, the heavy potassium load we provided goes to work, drawing significant moisture and natural sugars into those expanding cells right before harvest. You can realistically expect berries that are visibly larger, often up to 30% heavier than your typical past yields. More importantly, when you gently pull a ripe berry from its white core, it will slide off in one solid, firm piece. The days of berries crumbling into a frustrating mess in your harvesting basket are gone. However, it is vital to keep your expectations grounded. This method maximizes the genetic potential of your healthy wood. It will not resurrect dead, brittle canes or cure systemic issues like raspberry mosaic virus. But once you pull that massive harvest, what you do with those spent canes immediately after picking is the final, non-negotiable step to ensuring the success repeats next year. The moment you finish picking that final heavy crop from your summer-bearing canes, their biological life cycle is completely finished. Those thick, woody stems that just provided your harvest will slowly begin to die back. Leaving them standing in the patch is one of the worst things you can do for next year's crop. As those spent canes deteriorate, they become prime real estate for overwintering pests and fungal spores like spur blight. Furthermore, they physically block crucial sunlight and air circulation from reaching the young, green primo canes that are currently growing up around them. Those new green canes represent your entire harvest for next season. If they are shaded out and starved of energy now, no amount of liquid drench next spring will save them. Take a sharp pair of bypass pruners and cut those brown, fruited canes all the way down to the soil line. Do not leave a stump. Remove that old wood from the garden entirely to prevent spreading dormant diseases. By removing this physical competition, the root system instantly redirects all its water and remaining nutrients into thickening the stalks of those young replacement canes before the first frost hits. Gardening is not about guessing, and it is certainly not about dumping random fertilizers onto your soil just because the calendar says it is spring. It is about understanding the actual biological needs of your plants and timing your interventions to match their natural growth cycles. When you align your efforts with the science of how a raspberry bush actually functions, the physical results in your harvest basket speak for themselves. Thank you for spending your time with me here at Smart Gardening. Keep relying on sound research. Take care of your soil, and I will see you in the garden next time.